This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the 2018 NFL Coaching Carousel here on the Louie T Network. Thank you for joining me. Of course, I'm your set man, Louie T, talking about Black Monday. It's come, it's gone. Some coaches have been handed their walking papers. Others have been handed new contracts. And some have just been told to stay put. And in Houston, which to me is one of the most fascinating developments around the league, is Bill O'Brien and his seemingly tenuous situation improving in his worst year as Texans head coach. Let's talk about that and delve a little deeper into that. And the reason this is so fascinating for me is because every year Bill O'Brien has been the head coach of the Texans. They've been 9-7 or better, and they've made the playoffs, won the division in 2 of those years. This year was the first year that they didn't win the division or make the playoffs. Injuries, obviously, having a lasting impact on this season. No Watt, no Merciless, Deshaun Watson's injury, just a few of the names that the Texans were missing at some point this season for an extended amount of time. But that being said, 2 years ago, it seemed like Bill O'Brien was a little discontent with his situation in Houston and was looking to move on. Last year, it looked like the Texans organization was a little bit disappointed in Bill O'Brien and they were looking to move on. It seemed like it was inevitable that they were going to part ways this offseason, despite this season not really being the fault of one Bill O'Brien because of the injuries and the quarterback position. It still seemed like Bill O'Brien was going to go his way and the Texans were going to go theirs, and we were going to see a mutual parting of ways. And also in that mix, GM Rick Smith, somewhere in there, could easily be on his way out as well. But that's nor here nor there. The biggest thing was it seemed that Bill O'Brien was at a loss, at an impasse, if you will, with this organization over more control, over personnel decisions. And that's where GM Rick Smith comes into play. And it seemed like because of the gripes and the quarterback situation being what it's been since he's been there, and the lack of improvement and some of the issues that they've had in Houston over the years, it just seemed like it was going to come to a head this year and they were going to move on from each other. And now all of a sudden, it not only sounds like Bill O'Brien is going to be back, and nothing is etched in stone. Black Monday, yes, has come and gone, and Bill O'Brien is still employed by the Houston Texans. It seems as if he's going to be back. But not only does it seem as if he's going to be back, it seems as if he's going to gain power, which seems asinine after looking at the first few years of Bill O'Brien in Houston and the way that they unfolded. But as you delve deeper into the situation, it makes a lot of sense. Bill O'Brien never wanted anything to do with Brock Osweiler. That was all GM Rick Smith. And if you look at the way that this roster is set up, I think Rick Smith has done a quality job of acquiring talent, but this roster could be better. I think they should have held on to A.J. Boye. Now, again, you can't pay everybody, but A.J. Boye was a young budding star at the cornerback position. He was the one that got away. Now, you already had paid Jonathan Joseph. You had already paid Kareem Jackson. There wasn't enough money to go around. I get it. But that's one that you look back on and say, damn it, we got to find a way to keep that guy. He can't leave. The Dwayne Brown situation was a mess. Maybe he didn't need to be paid any more money and the holdout wasn't warranted. But I'll never tell a player not to try to get his. So that situation turned into a mess. And I didn't think that was good compensation, what you got in return for Dwayne Brown. But we'll see what happens when it's all said and done. We'll see what they do with the pick that they acquired. But in any event, it seems as if Rick Smith may be in more trouble than Bill O'Brien, which is, again, fascinating. I am floored by the way that this thing has turned out, because I thought that this was a foregone conclusion that at the end of the season, Bill O'Brien was going to be gone and no longer Houston Texans head coach. And not only is he going to be the head coach, he may be more empowered after having his worst season as Texans head coach. And we'll see. With Deshaun Watson has already come out and said, look, I want Bill O'Brien here. And I think that matters, that the quarterback, the young budding star quarterback wants the head coach around. I haven't been a big Bill O'Brien fan, but I thought what he was able to do in maximizing the skill set of Deshaun Watson in his rookie season was one of the best coaching jobs in that short period of time that we saw all season long. And this is coming from a guy in Bill O'Brien that said, hey, look, I don't even have any experience with read option. I don't really coach that. That's not my philosophy. That's not what I want to do. Remember, I came from New England with Tom Brady. That's what I want to do. I'm not running read option. So for him to take his style and kind of, shape shift it and transform it into something that could fit the skill set of Deshaun Watson, I thought it was phenomenal. And we'll see what happens with Bill O'Brien. I'm intrigued because you're hearing reports that this may come down to a similar situation in Cleveland where it's coach versus GM and it's him or me. And Bill O'Brien may say to the ownership in Houston, look, Bob McNair, speaking of, hey, look, Bob, you either keep me or you keep Rick. But I don't want to be here if he's here. We'll see what happens. There could be a stare down coming. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just hearsay. But it wouldn't shock me. Because Bill O'Brien seems to me to be the type of guy that would give an owner an ultimatum. Because he feels confident in his abilities that he can get work. Worst case scenario, if he didn't land another head coaching job, he can always go back to New England. That's what every other New England Patriots coach does when they get fired, is just go back to New England. You can always go back home. So we'll see what happens with Bill O'Brien. I think it's a fascinating situation and development brewing in Houston, because I don't think they've made any moves yet, but I don't think they're going to go without making a move. Somebody's going to end up without a seat in this game of musical chairs, whether it's Bill O'Brien or GM Rick Smith. I think someone's going to end up without a chair. And right now, the way it sounds, I think that's going to be Rick Smith. But we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued by that situation. And we'll see if they hang on to everyone, if everyone comes back. But this, I'll tell you this, if everyone does come back, this will be the last year of everyone being back if they don't make the playoffs and have a serious run next season. Changes will be made. Heads will roll. Things will be different. I can guarantee you that. Nonetheless, that's going to do it for me and the Houston Texans and their coaching carousel. I think the last chapter on this book in the Houston Texans coaching carousel GM situation has not been written. I think we have a lot more to come in this Houston Texans saga before it's all said and done. Whatever is going to happen needs to happen before free agency hits. That's for certain. But we'll see what happens in any event. I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. I'll see you a little bit later on. I got tons more to talk about in this coaching carousel, so don't you go anywhere. I'll see you in a bit.